Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everyone. Wherever you are in the world, welcome once again to another session of Living World of Darkness. This is a scene for the vampire venue. We open up tonight in the middle of the night in New York City, in Manhattan, outside the walls of one of the largest, most famous museums of art in the entire world. The place has been thoroughly closed down with very heavy security patrolling both the parking lot and the premise of the building. However, inside, there's begun a party with an extremely select guest list. One that still at the moment is tentative. The the kindred of New York City, those that have shown any inclination towards not becoming blindly ravenous monsters, have all received very formal invitations to an official Elysium hosted by Prince T.J. Vanderbilt. Formal dress is expected, and all visitors are expected to adhere not only to the rules of Elysium, but to their best ability, common etiquette. The large entrance to the museum is being patrolled by a large amount of security, although there's one fairly small, somewhat bored-looking woman with a bright green mohawk who seems to be taking invitations and greeting guests. And this, I believe, is where we will begin our scene.
Rex, at least tell me that's like the nicest shirt you have.
It's a fine jacket.
We're gonna go with it. All right. Look, this is gonna be really simple. I know you're still feeling ways, but listen, we mean pretty much nothing to these people. Just be really quiet. Pretend we know what's going on. Hopefully nobody notices us. You ready?
Good evening, Craig. Good evening, Rex.
Whoa!
I assume they
Hi.
like
It's been a while.
Yes, it has. I hope to think that you're in good health.
Yeah, less dick monsters.
For sure. Hey, you did an excellent job finishing it off, though.
Yeah.
Craig, it's been a while. How's it going?
As good as can be expected.
Well, then. If it means anything, you seem to be adapting pretty well.
Like I said, as good as can be expected.
She nods. I will state that, yes, even in character, her hair is big enough for God to notice her. Or Kane, one of the two.
So,
She'll look between you.
given that you currently are who you are, why don't you do us the honor of leading the way?
Sure. Why not? And Eliza will go ahead and Rex along to get up in this piece.
It sounds so wrong.
Oh my God! Really? Whatever, bro.
As you approach the woman who seems to be turning away or accepting guests, according to an actually fairly short-looking list that she has in her hand, She'll look up as the three of you walk over and sort of eye each of you, looking you up and down. Would everybody like to roll me perception awareness?
That aura perception, though.
Uh,
Neither of you have awareness, do you?
I'm not Flame Mage.
I also don't have awareness.
Hold on, wait a minute. Let me see if I have awareness, because I feel like Eliza's the kind that would be like, I don't need to sense that Wuji shit.
Yeah, actually, let me roll my 1 die
Hold
perception.
on.
Let me roll my 2 die.
This is going to be at a +1 diff because I don't have awareness, right?
Awareness is a talent.
Oh,
It's
right,
talent.
right, right.
No death penalty.
Oh, does
Yeah,
somebody
I
want
told
to set the thing up first?
She did.
Yeah, Eliza's
Oh,
that she
Did
don't
I
have
put a
awareness.
lot of effort into it?
oh, sorry. I'm like scrolled to the wrong part of the ring.
I botched!
Oh
I
my-
got 1 die and I botched!
I
1 in
just
10.
failed.
1 in 10.
I just failed as well.
I am the 1%.
I feel like Eliza is the 1%, but all right.
On a botch on your awareness roll, you begin to approach this area, but are suddenly stricken with an almost sort of mortal feeling of fear. You can almost feel your heart start to beat again as you get close to this mohawked woman. And it's not just a faint, like, tickle that you feel, it's like you just are consumed by this impending dread.
Surprisingly, that's accurate for going into a Camarilla Elysium.
Whether it's his lack of sociability, or otherwise, he's sticking a little close to Craig, and he's just not going to talk.
Craig equally is a quiet little shit, practically using Eliza, or maybe more accurately, Eliza's hair as a shield.
Yeah, to be fair, the hair can almost have an armor rating. Actually, Shelby, I need to ask you about that after the scene.
I mean, it's kind of like a head cape.
I make no promises one way or another.
But yes, the party proceeds.
Yep.
Okay. After the few moments of staring, the woman with the mohawk will step aside and usher the three of you in.
Eliza will nod to her.
She
As a,
has a fairly peculiar looking look on her face as she looks at Rex, who is flashing all sorts of colors to her at this point.
What up?
She will give each of you what appears to be a program, like one would have for plays, and usher you towards the stage.
alrighty. Eliza at the very least is she's actually gonna check out the fucking I believe it's called the playbill that she got. Kind of see what it is.
That's essentially what it is. It has a guest list of the important members of each clan. You will all notice that none of you are on the list.
Oh, even the Harpy of Clan Venture?
Are you a Harpy now? You will be on the list.
What about a hound?
No.
That's fair.
I mean, if she's not on there, then that'll be it. That'll be an interesting slide.
The list includes, of your position, it only includes the sheriff, and he is indeed not very far up there. Each of the Primogen are listed first, and it's mentioned vaguely that some may be accompanied by their whips or their hounds. The schedule of the Elysium seems to be fairly rigidly laid out.
Okay, sorry about that. You kind of.
What's that? Beginning with an announcement from the prince.
No, I was saying lion. So I didn't catch all of it. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's okay. It's a rigidly laid out schedule for the events going on. Starting with an announcement from the prince, an announcement from Clan Tremere, and ending with the presentation of neonates and fledglings.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, Eliza is going to kind of lean back to the both of them, point to that last part and say, in case neither of you know, that's the part that we need to get in on. As in first priority.
Sweet Christ. Okay.
It'll be fine. Just be your normal sunny selves. And I don't mean sunny in a very punny way, but it just kind of came out like that. It'll be fine.
So, as you're ushered into the theater area, you'll find the place is not terribly decorated beyond what it normally is. In fact, it seems like steps have been taken to make this appear as much like a mundane meeting place as possible, with, yes, seating arrangements and title cards placed with camera positions on them, but nothing quite as over the top of what you may have seen in your visits to the Succubus Club or other seedier locations. Standing on the stage and appearing to be having their own private conversations are two individuals that could be recognized as the prince and the Tremere Primogen. Other kindred are scattered about, not quite taking their seats yet, but sort of socializing, occasionally looking up at the massive clock on the wall to ensure that they won't be sitting down late for the proper announcements. Those of you, well, all of you, have you met or seen them, you may be able to recognize key players in your clans present, at the very least, Primogen.
Yep. I don't know if you or Vinny want to roleplay it out. I know Eliza would definitely, at the very least, gently bring Craig along. And when I say gently bring Craig along, I mean you definitely should probably do this. That way they can go and mingle with, Venture Primogen and Sheriff Cody and all that, if they're here, of course. It's here.
Craig is drug along.
So who are you looking for first?
The Ventru, like the Ventru higher ups and stuff, because it's only respectful that you say hi to them at the very least.
Well, as you have met the Ventrue Primogen before, Eliza, you find Odette flanked by what looks to be sort of an entourage of individuals, and Sheriff Cody sitting not too far from them, though not mingling in with the people that are more finely dressed.
Cough, cough, the high clans.
Cough, cough, the high clans.
All right.
But she has a wine glass in hand and seems to be open to receiving individuals. She is sat down in sort of a plush chair that it seems that each of the Primogen have to sit on. And of course, there are people waiting hand and foot on important guests.
All right. As they approach, Eliza's going to turn to Craig and ask, Craig, meet the deep end.
Would you just do your job and talk to these people?
And that's part of your job too now.
Yeah.
Same clan as me. I may have a fancy title for it, but
Yeah,
We'll
you're
expect-
the one with the title. I'm the one they sent into basements, okay? I doubt they even care what my name is. Get this done.
I guarantee you they will. $20 on it.
Fine.
And he'll start to approach Odette.
As you approach, she looks at you with a courteous smile. That attentive yet not terribly interested look is offered in your direction.
That's legit. Eliza will curtsy and say, "Good evening, Miss Dubois."
Miss Cuthbert?
Out of character, did she mean to mispronounce her last name?
No, that's Vinny, because Vinny is on some really heavy cold medications.
Okay. I was just wondering.
No, not that bad. We're not. PK Vinny is
No,
not
it's
here.
PK Benny. It's not PK Benny.
He's not here. I promise you.
But yeah, she will curtsy and she'll say, "I simply wish to come by and say hello and also introduce you to another member of our clan if you were so inclined at the moment."
She'll just kind of give you a gracious nod. She doesn't say yes or no, but she does just nod her head ever so slightly.
Yeah, so Eliza's going to look back to Craig. The baton has now been passed.
Yeah, Craig with his cane literally tucked under his arm and away from people.
She turns her eyes towards you, Mr. Ainsworth, and she has a very expectant look on her face.
Hello, Ms. Dubois. Just here to pay my respects.
She will offer out her hand with a ring upon it.
There's this moment there, man. This shit is literally happening in front of him. This is something he's only seen in feature films. But he goes with it. I'm not going to describe the exact pursing of his lips or anything, but it happens.
Okay.
And she will smile, withdraw her hand. Mr. Ainsworth, it is a privilege to finally get to see Miss Green's progeny in the flesh.
They tend to be given to other uses.
So I've heard. I trust that you found your place here within the tower as suitable as anyone could ever hope for.
Of course.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, your sire has told me to expect great things from you, and I will be expecting such. But I am sure that you are up to the task.
Yes.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well then, if you would like to, you two are more than welcome to join us here. She kind of gestures to where most of the Ventrue are sitting.
Just excuse me a moment. And Craig goes over to Rex. Look, I think you're going to have to, like, stick to your people until this is over, and then we'll, I don't know, we'll go do something, okay?
It's cool. I'm looking for the sheriff anyhow. I want to talk to him about how I ripped that motherfucker's head off.
That might be an after this kind of... I wouldn't do it around here. You know what I'm saying?
All right.
Okay. And Craig returns to go very woodenly be near the rest of the Ventrue.
Yep. Eliza's cool with it, unless you want me to answer IC, Benny. Eliza was down to hang with the Ventrue.
Oh, it would go without saying, considering your position.
Yeah, for sure.
Rex, if you do look across the if you look across the way over there, you do see a fair amount of people with they just have this certain look about them that definitely pegs them as your people. They don't have a sign that says Gangrel, but some of them are wearing, heavy furred collars, or they have some animalistic features about them. They definitely look like your kind of people.
I have found my comfort zone. Rex goes over there.
That is where you will meet your premonition.
The group of Gangrel isn't quite so structured looking as the Ventrue, with clear heads or clear leaders among them. In fact, they all seem to just sort of be sitting vaguely near each other. Some are lounging in ill-fitting suits. Others didn't really make the effort to dress Elysium appropriate, most likely under the excuse that I am a Gangrel. The prince tends to understand their handicap. The group, however, does turn to look at you when you approach, and the first one to greet you is a woman in a leather jacket. This one, in fact, with putting on a sort of formal yet not overly classy attire. And the first thing she does actually is make direct eye contact and stand up.
I know what my werewolf instincts are telling me. Um, he for now, yeah, he'll start off At least for introductions, he'll match eye contact, not with any sort of intent. Same as would in Werewolf, but gives her a silent nod and offers a bro fist.
She's gonna lean in very close, as if it were with intent. And then she's going to grin with her sharp feline teeth and return the bro fist, ending it with a
To which he will smile all of his jagged, sharky triangle teeth.
and then she will clear her throat, straighten herself up to look more like a normal person, and say, "Sup."
Not much. Got the word about this suit and tie? He gestures to the interior of the building.
We tend to get out of that. You ever try to, like, put one of us in a suit?
Yeah. Well, nah, but ain't much for suits. It's about the best I do. He's wearing a red leather jacket with a white shirt underneath, matching red pants.
She'll nod approvingly, being dressed very similarly, but in black. Good tastes. And she's gonna look around at the other gangrel, and then, sort of with a fairly proud puffing up of her chest, she's gonna say, "Sabine Cruz, gangrel primogen."
Rex. Neonate.
She's gonna give him the finger guns. "You are gonna fucking love this Elysium." And then she will look over as if looking at the prince, and then she's gonna say, "You are gonna fucking love this Elysium."
And yeah, he does kind of giggle with all of his teeth showing, as if like some shit is about to go down.
And with that, she's going to plop down and put her feet up on the chair in front of hers. Her formal shoes appear to be a shiny pair of boots that are still pretty muddy on the bottoms, but it looked like they got scrubbed, at least.
Would you mind if I joined you?
Go for it. She is going to look over at the other two that he just departed from. Why, did they not let you in their prissy little club?
Nah, too much wine drinking and talking about their suits and shit. Nah, I don't want to hang around that.
Oh, I'm sure you'd go crazy by the fifth mention of boons.
Boons.
Yes, Neonate, you may sit next to me, but for that I will require a boon.
Wait, you serious?
She suddenly just has a stone cold look on her face.
Fuck it. And sits right next to her.
Wait, seriously? Just like that? She's gonna stand up and she's going to gesture for Eliza. She's like gonna wave her arms at her, in fact.
Oh shit! So Eliza kind of perks up, sees Kristen Stewart waving over to her, and she'll look to Craig and say, "Excuse me, I think I need to go and handle something."
Uh-huh.
And Eliza gets up and starts to mosey on over to Kristen Stewart.
She's gonna smile and stand up real proper like, and she's going to say, "Thank you for coming over, Miss Harpy. Rex here has offered me a boon.
Oh, of what magnitude?
She will look over at Rex.
Services rendered.
He's asking for the level of boon, Rex.
Minor?
And she'll just nod her head. He has
All right.
offered me a minor boon for my company this evening.
Understood. Eliza whips out her phone and writes that motherfucker down. Puts her phone back away.
What's that?
Oh, she basically just recorded it very quickly. And she'll actually say, may I get your name, please?
And she'll nod. Sabine Cruz.
Cruz, very well. Thank you very much, Ms. Cruz. This has been recorded.
Excellent, thank you too.
Pleasure to be of service. And she makes her way back on over to the crew, to the Venture crew.
And once the harpy has gone, recording this free boon, Sabine is going to burst into laughter. She'll give Rex a few very, affectionate and very strong pats on the back.
Rex seems kind of confused, but yeah, laughs a little bit.
Does Eliza see the laughter?
Probably, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't have, hard of hearing or anything, does she?
No hard of hearing.
Shade.
Yeah, can I get some PV on that?
On what,
I'm
Rex?
curious now. No, on Sabine. There's 2 successes.
At 2 successes, it's kind of, you get that it's not a laugh directed at you. It's a very sort of surprised laugh, I can't believe that worked.
Okay, that's legit. That's legit.
It's not it's not the kind of laugh that a Toreador would laugh with.
Okay. All right. Okay.
You heard those laughs before.
Yeah, no, she's seen that shit. She does not like it.
And while a certain individual with a certain type of gas mask on enters in, it's almost painfully apparent where the Nosferatu are sitting.
Yes. As the man in the heavy clothing and the gas mask comes in, he looks around patiently, as if he was waiting for permission to truly enter the Elysium.
You were stopped at the door by the neonate liaison who checked to make sure that you were of the proper ilk and then allowed you inside. And you are actually in the Museum of Modern Art, which has been sequestered off from the public for what looks to be, from all appearances to the public, a sort of corporate or other kind of gathering, something that people just don't tend to pay attention to because this sort of thing happens in Manhattan all the time.
And this is not open to the public. This is just for the kindred.
Just for the kindred.
And Caesar's going to do the thing that he never does. And he's going to take off his mask. Feeling that this is one of the few times that he's allowed to, in a sense, if he had any, let his hair down.
Well, you see some individuals who also have that same, or well, some of them do. Some of them are wearing their masks, real or otherwise. Um, but as you make your approach, one stands up and gestures you over. He's tall and dressed in looks to be long slacks with a even longer coat. Sort of looks like it's seen better days, but is not in such disrepair as to be completely inappropriate for the event itself.
Caesar will go over there and simply say, and kind of do a slight bow. And good evening.
How's it going?
Could be better, but it's good to be here. And he'll present his hand. Caesar Devlin.
Dwayne McMasters, and I'll take your hand and give it a good shake with a good squeeze. You're you're Helena's boy, ain't you?
Yeah.
I want to see you all, you and a few of the other neonates, after the proceedings at some point. I have business to discuss about what we're going to be doing in the family. But for now, if you want, you can sit over here with the rest of us.
And he nods to that and will take a seat. And he's rubbing on one of his gloved hands, like at his ring finger, looking like it's sore.
Primogen looks at the hand and looks up at you, but he doesn't say anything as he sits back down. And over on the other side of the room, all the pretty faces, the beautiful people that are relative to the size of their steeple, are sitting around, most of them dressed to the nines, wearing the most expensive looking clothing, most austere and ostentatious things that you could see. Nothing garish, but everything extremely, as the turn of phrase is used, extra.
I guess at this point, Adam walks in and he seems like he's doing a whole lot better. He is, dare I say, chipper. He has a smile on his face, and he will first. How's the position? Like, who would I run into first?
Basically, the way there's basically sort of cordoned off areas, like sections, set up around the stage, and each one of them has, it's for each of the clans, and you can tell by who they're looking at. They're basically like, comfortable chairs set up in a way that the Primogen is at the head, and their officers are, flanking them, and then the masses are sitting somewhere in the back, so to speak, of each of the groups. So as you approach, you'll see a Marcel, and you can see sitting not too far behind him, maybe 10 feet away, Ella and Abigail, your two most favorite people, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
But he seems to be sitting there, just enjoying the music that is being played right now.
Daryl, what's your PC's name again? I forgot it.
No, it's Caesar.
Okay. When he goes to see his Primogen, audible enough, Hey, Caesar. Nice to see you. And and then kind of like wave. Not like an over the top one, but he's acknowledging you.
He'll look back and smile weakly, which is, in almost in a certain sense, looks macabre and his
Mhm.
true form, and simply says, "I'm sorry I couldn't show up to your gala."
It's fun. I'm glad to see you again.
You know, it's
And with that, he will pay his respects to his Primogen, and then sit right next to the harpy.
Ooh. 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 Ooh.
So, Mr. Pricely, as you sit there, you actually catch Ella and Abigail completely off guard. The two singers they both stop what they're doing and seem to be at a loss. If they didn't have more composure than they did, they'd be sitting there with their mouths agape. But Marcel, you notice that his head is turned slightly. You can see that he's kind of looking over his shoulder at you.
Mm-hmm.
And when he sees you just sit down as confidently as anybody could ever hope for,
Mm-hmm.
you just see that curl of his lip upward slightly, and just this approving smirk.
How are you,
This
lady?
stage is made of wood. It is venerable wood.
Like Eliza's kind of, if she can, she's watching this. Like, as she curious.
Adam will say, and like, how are you doing, ladies?
They miss only a beat,
Mm-hmm.
and they come back with smiles and whatnot. Why, we're doing fine.
Beautiful.
And you? How are you doing?
Never better.
I see. Have you recovered from your from all the excitement of your gala?
Recovery is something that I do best.
I see.
Did you do something with your hair? It looks beautiful.
Oh, thank you. Just sort of threw this together, but you know.
I can tell.
Oh! I'm sorry. I'm a mute.
I see. And your attire, it looks great. I have to say it is something that I have it's just simply breathtaking. If I didn't have such a trained eye, I wouldn't think that it was from a thrift store.
Well, you see, my art is on display, not myself. Huh. But then again, an artist
Well,
does what he has to do.
I mean, we all remember how that went.
Oh, well, I'm sure it was well. Because you can expect bigger and better things.
Well, we can all hope for such things. After all, what is good for one of us is good for all of us.
Well, on that we can both agree. But again, enjoy your evening. And Adam will cross his legs.
You as well, Mr. Pricely. You as well. And I think at that point, a small change in the music, subtle, but it's there, changes as the people on the stage begin to get to their seats as a chair is brought up to the front and center of the stage.
The prince will approach, and with a few taps of his wine glass, there is suddenly silence. Although many members of the Elysium do occasionally look over to check on the Toreador, though they seem to have assumed their very polite Elysium attending selves. The prince will take a look around, and once all eyes are on him, he will announce, "Welcome, city. I apologize profusely for how long it has taken to get a proper Elysium going here, but considering the way that things are going at the moment, I'm certain you all understand. I, however, would prefer to keep this brief. We have a few priorities that I would like to see the Primogen of the clans and those of you with positions of status assigning to those below you. At the moment, our number one priority is going to be staking out our territories, enforcing our boundaries, and removing the Sabbat, at least from the proper parts of New York City. I would like to have coteries formed shortly, focusing on their particular skill sets, involving physical enforcement, the manipulation of influences, the staking of territories, and, of course, I will need some who'd be proficient in gathering to act as watchdogs. All of this will be laid out in dossiers assigned to your respective Primogen, who, with any luck, will point you in the correct directions. As for tonight, I would like to relinquish the stage to Clan Tremere, who have an important announcement for the Ivory Tower. And he will bow and take a seat.
As the prince graciously steps aside, there are several members of Clan Tremere sitting up on that stage. One of them stepping forward seems to be a tall woman in a fairly clean and crisp attire. But she steps forward and she has confidence just oozing out of her. And as she stops at the front of the stage, she will sort of place her hands together and she will bow graciously to the prince. Prince Vanderbilt, thank you so much. And then she will turn to the clans proper. My fellow kindred, we have only just recently been able to gain something of a strong footing here within the city. It has not been purchased without the cost of blood. Of members of several clans, our retainers, and our allies have all paid for what we have, and they have paid in cash, in a manner of speaking. As we continue to strengthen our place here within the greater New York City area, the veil of dread and mystery seems to still cloud over us, and not in the form that any of us might have expected when we first got here. Of course, we all assumed that the Sabbat would be the greatest threat, but the Tremere have been troubled as of late. our proclivities towards the studies and the monitoring of the occult has led us to a great number of different discoveries. But as some of you are aware, one such occurrence has left many of us somewhat uneasy. The disappearance of our rivals, or one of our many rivals, the Setites, has left us at a loss of how and why that occurred. Moreover, we are disturbed by the reports that we are getting from the reclamation teams that are being sent out. Reports of horrific monsters, creatures, altered individuals. And the passing of relics amongst anyone who happens across these temples. We have spoken to the prince, his seneschal, and to some of the Primogen previously before we came here this evening. And there is a formal agreement that any of the creatures that are found and that are brought back to us alive will be rewarded with a bounty of a trivial boon from Clan Tremere.
Bullshit.
And the Tremere regent will look over at the Gangrel Primogen. Miss Cruz.
That's bullshit, and you know it.
And
Like to spend a blood point to activate my boner.
Granted. We didn't reach a formal agreement. You strong-armed us and didn't give us a chance to argue against you? A trivial fucking boon for occult secrets? What do you plan to do? Share them with the rest of the Camarilla? Or are you gonna lock them up in your fucking tower?
information that strengthens us, strengthens the Camarilla, Miss Cruz. I'm sure you're well aware of that.
I'm well aware that Clan Tremere's just bidding for superiority.
Well, if you wish to continue with conspiracy theories, I'm sure that a harpy would so willingly be willing to hear you out.
So if this information is so valuable and strengthening the Camarilla so much, why, may I ask, is it worth the boon equivalent of a nickel? Surely you don't think we're all that stupid, do you?
As my understanding comes from the reports, these creatures are hardly invincible.
But a trivial boon? I can't get a normal human shot for a trivial boon. Do you think there's really zero risk in playing Tomb Raider? Fighting monsters?
Well, I suppose if Clan Gangrel isn't up to the task, maybe we can speak of an addendum for handicap.
Rex stands the fuck up.
Clan Gangrel is up to the task. In fact, Clan Gangrel is happy to offer major and perhaps even higher boons for such exciting artifacts and information.
If it is the Gangrel Primogen's desire to go against what the Council of Primogen in the majority and the Prince have agreed to, by all means, put yourselves out there.
I thought the agreement was that you were offering trivial boons in exchange for them. I'm just making a better offer.
Well, I do suppose that a major boon from Clan Gangrel might be the equivalent of a minor boon from Clan Tremere.
She's going to bare her teeth and hiss at her.
Yes, yes, you're very scary, Sabine.
And Sabine is going to look over to the harpy. I'd like it official. Any boon that Clan Tremere offers in exchange for any artifact, Clan Gangrel will go 1 boon higher.
Tim said he'd be right back.
Oh, Tim.
Meanwhile, this is going a lot better than anything Craig was ever told. This is exactly how he looks right now.
Mm-hmm.
How's Rex feeling?
He's currently standing with a boner. But and of course, right next to his Primogen, himself, boner included. But yeah, he's pretty quiet on the matter, but otherwise is looking very stern and imposing, right next to his Primogen.
Caesar would just whisper to his Primogen if he wants the Nosferatu to get onto that deal, because he's all up for screwing over the Tremere.
He'll just kind of look over at you and just smirk. Believe me, we'll have something to gain out of this, but we'll talk about it later.
All right.
And the Primogen of Clan Venture stands up and looks across at Sabine. Miss Cruz, is this one upsmanship surely worth it?
Yeah, I think so.
Would it not be better to perhaps defer to a sidebar rather than bringing such grievances out into the open?
Well, if such grievances don't get aired in an Elysium, what's an Elysium good for?
Time and place for everything, my
I'd
dear.
have orders barked at me by the Tremere.
Would it be possible to get you to defer and speak with myself and my colleagues on a sidebar and see if we can't work out a amenable solution to your grievances?
I'll consider it, but until I formally announce changing my mind, my offer stands.
Well, I have never considered you bullheaded or foolish, Miss Cruz. So I look forward to having a meeting with you at whatever point you deem appropriate.
She'll nod, and she is going to sit back down. She'll pull Rex down as well.
Schwip.
Pick her boots back up on the seat in front of her. Then Clan Gangrel's announcement is finished.
And the Venture Primogen will simply bow at the stage, and then she will sit back down. And from over the shoulder of the two Toreador, they seem to be completely caught up in the moment. So much so that any grievances that they have with a member of their clan from the other evening have all disappeared, and they seem to be almost conspiratorially leaning in towards him. Now, this is a bit of juicy gossip that I have to say is quite enjoyable. What do you think, Adam?
Adam will look and smile and say, "It is interesting."
So, go ahead, Shelby.
With that little conflict finishing, the prince, although not seeming the least bit bothered by it, will simply stand up and say, "And with that finished, I would like to call this Elysium to a close. Those of you who are new faces around here may schedule an appointment for proper presentation with my seneschal, and we will ensure that you are properly introduced to the city. Please feel free to mingle as long as you would like." And he will give a bow and see himself out.
Caesar's gonna stand up and he'll begin walking over to the gangrel area.
The gangrel Primogen will look at him. She is currently examining her nails as if she's quite proud of what she just did.
And once it gets to a suitable distance where he's not truly engaging them, he'll stop and simply ask, "May I have permission to speak with you?"
Granted.
And he looks over to Rex and nods his head and then simply says, "Rex."
Caesar.
And looks over to the Primogen and says, "Caesar Devlin of Clan Nosferatu. I'm curious. What do you think we could gain from gathering these artifacts? I'm merely a neonate, so I don't know a great deal of the supernatural outside of my own people."
Skalds of my clan have talked about the Setites and their sorcery more times than I can count. I'm not willing to let the Tremere have a monopoly on something that could very well benefit all of us. And besides, if there's something interesting to learn, then I think we should all benefit from the information. Magical artifacts don't exactly come cheap or easy.
And he shakes his head in agreement. And for the Tremere to so boldly order us around like lapdogs for something that, at this point, if it was so trivial to send out a bunch of humans and ghouls to deal with, is disturbing.
She nods.
I hope the best for your endeavors, then. And if it's possible, maybe my people can assist in the gathering of information. But I can only speak in hyperbole, since I have no power over my clan.
That's a bold offer from a neonate, especially not knowing your clan's official position.
Yeah.
I like you.
You'll hopefully hear an official statement from us soon.
I'm sure I will.
And then Caesar will look over to Rex and state, "I heard Jinx has got a new job."
Rex just kind of grimaces at Caesar.
And seeing that, he kind of backs off and says, "I'm sorry if that brought up anything. I heard from." I'm sorry.
Oh, he was just gonna say, no, please go ahead.
No, he just said I heard some rumors talking to some people on the streets.
That's nice.
Oh, Tim. So important development that I'm very sad you were AFK for. The Tremere have offered a trivial boon.
I heard that part.
Okay. So Clan Gangrel has offered to one-up any boon that a Tremere offers for any Setite artifacts or information.
Oh,
And she directed it specifically towards you as the Harpy managing this deal.
okay then. Awesome. That was pretty much it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Thanks for the catch up.
Caesar will, as his final statement to Rex for right now, is so Jinx holds you and Lola to high regard. She says you're like her parents to her. So I'm very sure you're proud of everything she does.
You're right.
And, well, good evening, Rex.
And he nods at him.
Craig will actually go over to the Nosferatu. Hey, guys. I'm sorry I didn't sit next to you, but I didn't think you wanted to be caught with the ugly friend. Am I right?
These were just gonna look at Craig a little confused. Just,
That that's supposed to be a joke.
Can't say I'm the funniest guy around.
You're amusing, at least.
Well, thank you. Oh, also, how's Mr. Midnight doing?
You have to ask Mr. Midnight.
Fair
He's
enough.
in business for himself, if you get my drift. And therefore, and he just kind of gestures and, runs a finger across his nose as if to signify, huh. Us tower types don't regularly convene.
Fair enough. I'll have to come down and see how folks are doing at some point, though.
Don't want to get your fancy new suit all dirty now and stinky, do you?
I'll pick one of the ones I don't like.
Moving on up in the world these days, Mr. Ainsworth.
At least sideways.
So, what's the name of your dear sire?
Sylvia B. Green.
I know a little bit about her. Interesting choice.
Yeah, I guess you could call me that for her.
Somehow, I get the feeling that the call wasn't yours to make. Seems like it was more Miss Dubois' choice.
Yeah, it's one of those inevitable things. Unstoppable force, immovable object, all that.
One of them is an unstoppable force. One of them ain't. Let you decide which one is, which one isn't.
I appreciate that. And at this point, Craig will go make his fun appointment with the Seneschal and follow Rex.
And Caesar will look over to Dwayne, and we'll say in the most basically reassuring tone, but obviously a bit ignorant. Didn't I?
I'll make the introductions when the time is right, kid.
Yeah. All right.
Also, next time you want to start wheeling and dealing, after a big blow up like that, you ask permission first. Do you understand?
And he nods. She seems to respond to aggression and boldness. I was taking advantage of that if I could.
Take a look around you.
And his eyes sweep. Again, a somewhat disturbing gesture.
How many different faces do you see?
A lot for me.
So how many eyes?
Too many.
Exactly my point. When you make a gesture like that out in the open, there's a lot of eyes on you. Lesson 1 about being part of this family, Caesar. Never let him see a deal. Not for us.
Understood, sir.
Young, you're still learning. So it's an okay misstep for right now. Hopefully you won't make the same mistake in the future.
And despite being the undead, his neck kind of tenses and flinches. I've already paid a cost for a mistake earlier. I won't make one again.
Listen, kid. And he kind of holds out a hand, sort of like to placate you slightly. Listen. I don't have problems with people making mistakes. And then he points. I have problems with people making the same mistakes. So, you make a misstep, you fall off the horse, what do?
Get back on and ride again.
You damn right you get back on. So, going forward, keep your air of mystery around you. You're a Nazi.
And he says nothing, not a sense of denying claim. It's more of a sign of acknowledgement.
Good man. Go get yourself over to the Seneschal and schedule your appointment.
Sir, will do. Though I haven't introduced myself to the harpy of the city. I'll make a quick detour there. I'll make sure to make an appointment.
And he'll nod. And we will cut over to to Marcel. And he'll kind of just gesture Mr. Pricely over.
Stops his conversation and abruptly and goes over.
So what did you think?
It's a power move.
And how would you assess it?
It is a long-standing rivalry that has gotten petty in a very public forum.
And who would you say handled it better?
On impressions, I would say that the Shaman handled it slightly better.
That being said, do you plan to get yourself mixed up in that mire?
Adam will kind of look and say, would you have an issue with it?
I tend to leave a long bit of slack on the leash that I have on my individuals that I am responsible for. Just know that I can pull that taut anytime I want. But for now, I see no reason to let you do what you think is best. As long as it doesn't harm the clan.
He'll not.
And he'll kind of lean forward and put his hand up to the side of his face as if scratching. And remember that you do have rivals within this clan.
I love admirers.
He'll just smile at that. I hope that bravado isn't false.
Well, isn't that half the game? It's part of being Southern.
Now then, go make your appointment with the seneschal so you can have an audience and present yourself to the prince.
All right. And with that, Adam will nod and make his leave.
And we'll cut back over one last time to Odette Dubois, the Venture Primogen, and Eliza.
All right.
Odette looks stoic, to say the least. Miss Cuthbert,
Yes, Mr. Watt.
you are committed to this clan, correct?
Absolutely so.
And you're committed to the direction in which we as a whole will be traveling.
Yes, I am.
What is your take on what just occurred here?
It is my opinion that the Tremere, while being genuine in their more occult research, were trying to, lack of a better term, pinch their pennies. Is it something that I disagree with? No, not entirely.
I need you to do something for clan.
All right, Mr. Watt.
The secrets of the blood, especially sorcery, are fickle things. And without the proper research or expertise, bad things can happen. I want you to make sure that that is well known. If you can undermine the losing side of this, the side that's in the wrong, and she'll turn and look at Liza very directly. We'll see to it that your status within the clan is properly reflective of your service. Did I make myself clear?
Crystal clear, Mr. Watt.
Very well. And with that, if Shelby is here, I do believe that is a great place to end our scene.
Thank you, players, for playing. Thank you, watchers, for watching. This has been another scene for Living World of Darkness Vampire.